our family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, First at 5.
Augusta's blight ordinance in effect for 7 months now. About 60 or so property been torn down, but another 367 are still on the waiting list. So what's the holdup? But first, we want to take a look outside and go to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale. I think, Riley, we have experienced summer and winter in the course of 24 hours. It's been a strange weekend.
It really mid to low 40s. We may briefly hit the upper 30s before midnight, but late tonight into early Tuesday, that's when the rain will start across the region. And then heading into tomorrow, not expecting to really warm up all too much. Temps will stay in the mid to low 40s all day long, and we'll likely see those rain chances on and off as well. We'll have a look at when this rain clears out and a look at that Christmas Day forecast in just about 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Riley. City leaders have been trying to figure out what to do with blighted properties around Augusta for quite some time now. Some homes have been abandoned for just as long. A new blight ordinance was passed earlier this month to address that very issue. News 12's Kennedy Harris joins us now live from downtown in the Laney Walker area. And Kennedy, how much progress has the city made since all of this new laws went into effect?
Well, the city has demolished 61 blighted properties this year, but that progress has nothing to do with the blight ordinance, and that's because it hasn't even been used yet. There are nearly 400 homes the city has taken ownership of, and they are awaiting to be demolished. Some of those homes, like the ones on Park Avenue, have been on that demo list for years. The blight ordinance went into effect 7 months ago. The goal was to tax property owners 7 times the normal amount, just to give them a push to clean up their property. Even though it's been 7 months, not one owner has been taxed. The city code enforcement manager says he's ready and already has a few properties on the list waiting to be taxed. That includes big properties like the Regency Mall. But there's been a holdup in the city's legal department, stopping them from going forward with the blight tax. But people who have lived next door to empty homes for years are ready to see some progress.
The next of kin are gone, evidently. It's been up for tax sale several times. No one's come around to buy it, and I don't understand why they don't tear it down.
But tearing it down isn't so easy. I'm working on a story for tonight at 6 o'clock about how the city has dug itself into a blight backlog, and it'll take millions to correct it.
All right, thanks for that, Kennedy. A man behind bars tonight accused of shooting a woman to death in Allendale. It happened Friday evening in her own yard on Jackson Street. 31-year-old Chelsea Frazier died on scene. Tonight, Craig Priester is facing murder charges and weapons charges. Warrants show Frazier was shot with a handgun. Priester is being held at the Allen County Detention Center. Still no arrest after last night's shooting in McCormick County sent one person to the hospital. Investigators say a couple was fighting at the Cherry Manor Apartments on South Cherry Street. The boyfriend was shot twice in the stomach. He is in the ICU, but is stable. We're told the girlfriend is not been arrested at this point, nor is she a suspect. Governor Kemp is announcing a new initiative aimed at helping farmers and food banks in Georgia. Kemp says it's one of his priorities to allocate funding in the state budget towards helping to feed those who rely on food banks, as well as the families who farm the land growing that food.
Funding for the program allows more farmers to enter the market, and it will minimize loss on surplus produce rather than being forced to waste millions of pounds of good food. And this has been the case in recent years.
Citing the USDA, Governor Kemp says around 40% of food is wasted worldwide every single year. Former Georgia Senator Johnny Isakson died this weekend at the age. Current Senators John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock also put out statements reflecting on Isaacson's career in Washington. The holiday rush getting underway, and it seems people are making up for some lost time. The TSA says it screened more than 2 million people at airports across the country for the 4th day in a row. In Atlanta, they're expecting more than 3.5 million people to go through the airport. Airlines are expected to see an increase of 184% from last year. A Day with a Deputy. It is back again this year where kids and their families get a chance to shop for a toy with a Columbia County Sheriff's Office deputy. It is a way for the agency to give back to the community while also providing a kid who may not have been able to get a gift otherwise have a toy picked out just for them.
Great program there in Columbia County, and heading into tonight and tomorrow, wet and cold conditions. We'll have a look at that full forecast for you just after the break.
Plus, a real-life elf on the shelf is bringing a little holiday cheer to a family restaurant hit hard by the pandemic. We'll have the story of this little elf and his misadventures when we come back. Go.
A big finish sales event at Milton Ruben Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Wjbf.com. Click, click.
Every year, Santa's scout elves show up in homes and cause mischief. The popular story of the Elf on the Shelf has taken on a life of its own since it was first published in 2005. Now, one family is adapting the tradition to bring a little cheer this holiday season. Deanna Durant takes us to Yardley, Pennsylvania to meet a real-life elf on the shelf.
Frank Lyons has run the historic Continental Tavern in Yardley for 14 years. He, like many small dining owners, found himself saying, now what?
We were trying to cheer ourselves up and trying to cheer our customers.
And the customers they couldn't welcome in. His daughter, a new mom to baby Bo, had an idea. Bo became Boop, a real-life elf. And with a little help, he did get himself into some trouble.
The two ones I liked the best where he was making the snow angels in the flour on the kitchen floor, and the other one was where he's putting coal in the governor's stocking. It kind of went viral. It kind of grew into something that was a lot bigger than we expected.
The photos on social media had the entire town following Boop's mischievous adventures, along with supporting the business.
The demand was overwhelming. I mean, people were talking to us in September saying, are you going to have Boop back again?
Including from Super Bowl champ and former Philadelphia Eagle, Sean Landetta.
This place is an iconic place in this town. It's been around a while.
So this year, with Boop growing, both in popularity and size, enter in another local, Tiffany Wickert of Appletini Photography.
We came up with a great list this year.
Boop is getting out, delivering takeout, and making messes, just like every elf. And he's taken on social media and showing Sean a little bit about football.
And we all try to support the restaurant.
Boop right now works mainly for his grandparents' French fries, and he's helping to spread smiles in another year where the dining industry is hit by COVID, staffing, and supply shortages. But when it comes to hope, well, there's plenty of that.
I don't know what we're going to do when he goes to high school.
They've got a few years to figure that one out.
Photographer Tiffany Wickert says she plans to capture all of Boop's adventures until Christmas Day. And Riley, I don't know why when he goes to high school anything changes. You could just have a very big elf on the shelf. I think it'd be pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, I loved how they just had the maple syrup with a giant straw in it for us. So, yeah, you can continue that in the high school. No big
Boop.
deal there.
That's right.
Boop, I think, has got a good following and likely going to continue it over the next several years. But we do have some wet and cold conditions in our forecast for late tonight into early tomorrow, so get ready. Wednesday, sunshine returns, sticks around Thursday and Friday. Those temperatures will be getting warmer, though. By Christmas Day, we're back near 70 degrees, so looking good for outdoor plans this weekend.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. And because of those storms Riley was talking about, these inflatables are on the ground now, but when they're up, they stand around 40 feet tall. They're put up in the Kirkland's front yard every year. The Santa's been around for a while, but Frosty, he's a recent addition. Today, though, you can see Frosty's down for the count. Yesterday's win just wasn't very good for that, and, well, the Kirklands figured it wouldn't be good for Santa either, so we're told the big guys will be back up again on Thursday, so they just need a break from from all this weather. We're back in a bit.
The Live by Camera Day.
The lawsuit over the vaccine mandate for large companies is heading to the U.S. Supreme Court. Businesses, religious groups, and Republican-led states are asking Justice Brett Kavanaugh to freeze the mandate while the appeals process plays out. Another Biden mandate requiring vaccines for certain healthcare workers is already being reviewed by the Supreme Court. OSHA is in charge of enforcing these rules for companies with 100 or more employees. Both Georgia and South Carolina are involved in lawsuits pushing back against the mandates. The fate of the Biden agenda is up in the air tonight after a key Democratic senator said he will vote no on the $2 trillion climate change and social safety net bill. West Virginia's Joe Manchin said he is against the Build Back Better bill and went on the radio today to explain why. Chris Pallone is in Washington with the details.
I cannot vote to continue.
A day after declaring his opposition to President Biden's Build Back Better bill on Fox News, Senator Joe Manchin returned fire at angry progressives and the White House in a West Virginia radio interview.
This is not the president, it's the staff. And they drove some things and they put some things out that were absolutely inexcusable. But they know what it is, and that's it.
Manchin, believed to be the last crucial vote for the president's top legislative priority, voiced constant concerns about the bill's cost, even as he negotiated it down with the White House. 3 sources tell NBC News he feared parents would use child tax credit money to buy drugs.
I said, Chuck Schumer, there's nothing in there about accountability, holding people accountable. There's no work requirement. There's no means testing to where you're targeting the people who really need it.
Sunday, the White House accused Manchin of going back on his word. Today, a different tone.
The president sees Senator Manchin as somebody who is a longtime friend, somebody who has worked well together on, and our objective and our focus now is moving forward.
Is passed.
The House passed the nearly $2 trillion bill before Thanksgiving. It spends $500 billion to fight climate change in addition to creating a universal pre-K program, extending the child tax credit, and funding programs in home health care, paid family leave, and affordable housing. Progressive Democrats dismissed the idea that Manchin can still be won over by giving him more control.
This idea that we're going to go back to the table and give him the pen again for a bill that he has already has his ink all over makes very little sense.
A Christmas week bombshell, leaving tensions high and the president's agenda in doubt.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he will still hold a vote on the bill later this month, despite Manchin's declaration. Lawyers in the trial of former Minnesota police officer Kim Potter made their closing arguments today. Potter is charged with shooting and killing Dante Wright last year, claiming she mistook her gun for a stun gun. The jury heard from Potter herself Friday when she testified in her own defense. Her lawyers argue Potter shot Wright by accident. Wright's family and civil rights lawyers say they don't believe it was an accident. The jury got instructions for deliberating this morning. Closer to home, the North Augusta City Council will be holding a meeting tonight. One of the biggest items on the agenda is expanding the city. Leaders are trying to annex surrounding land and extend the city limits. Also on the agenda, asbestos in the new public safety headquarters and radios. Tomorrow, Santa Claus will be making a guest appearance at the Burke County Library. The kiddos will have the chance to take photos with the man in the red coat himself. That'll be going on from 3 to 5 in the afternoon. Parts of the Lowcountry experienced a minor earthquake this morning. Officials say there was a 1.1 magnitude earthquake in Summerville, South Carolina, just before 7 o'clock this morning. First Alert meteorologist Mikhail Hannah-Harding can explain more about the types of earthquakes we see in our region. Mikhail.
Well, earthquakes typically occur with little or no warning, so it's very hard to predict them. While South Carolina is not usually known for earthquakes, on average, 10 to 20 earthquakes are recorded annually, and 2 to 5 earthquakes are felt each year. These earthquakes tend to be less than 3.0 on the magnitude scale and cause little damage. But the last time South Carolina saw a major earthquake was back in August 31st of 1886. That was in Charleston, South Carolina. It was a 7.3 magnitude earthquake. But let's take a look at some graphics here, and you can see this is looking around the Columbia, South Carolina area. They actually saw 7 earthquakes in between October 28th to November 1st. So we have not been quiet around the South Carolina region at all in terms of earthquakes. This is a look back towards September 27th around the Latson and Somerville area. They actually saw 3 earthquakes in one day. The strongest was actually 3.3 in terms of magnitude. And again, these all did occur on the same day back on September 27th. Now this morning they saw another earthquake just south of Somerville near Latson. That was a 1.1 magnitude. It happened at 1:54 this morning, and it was a very shallow earthquake with a depth of about 2 miles as far as where that earthquake originated from. Now, here's a look at a graphic talking about the epicenters of earthquakes around the state of South Carolina since about 1698. So you can see this map is not heavily saturated with those dots, but you can see clusters of dots around the Charleston and Latson area, and then also looking up towards the center of the state around where Columbia would be. So we do typically see more activity in those areas where those earthquakes have been occurring. And looking at this map right here, this just shows the actual hot spots around the United States where earthquakes usually do occur. And you can see around the Charleston area, we do have a hot spot right there. So things are very active. Not sure if this is an indication of something bigger, but we'll talk about that maybe in the future. We have more news and weather coming up after the break.
From our family to yours, we hope you have a happy holiday.
Janty can fix your... Sending your family love and laughter as we head into 2022.
From the station that's on your side, News 12, first at 5, continues.
We begin this half hour with new information from an investigation into the Charles B. Webster Detention Center. Today, we learned Deputy Davion DeBoski has been arrested and charged with violation of oath by a public officer and unlawful street gang activities. He is now the 5th deputy, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, arrested in connection to this investigation. The 4 other deputies were charged last week. They're accused of giving things like shanks, clubs, and drugs to inmates at the Richmond County Jail. They went before a judge Thursday. 3 were granted bond at more than $27,000. As of Friday morning, former deputies Gabriella Anthony, Hunter Piper, and Jackie Campbell have been released from jail. Former deputy Jaquan German was not granted bond because he is also facing gang-related charges. We're also learning 16 inmates at the Charles Webster Detention Center have tested positive for COVID. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office tells us they do not know which variant the inmates have contracted. However, we're told the jail is following CDC guidelines and will release any updates as soon as they become available. It has been a
day, but finally sunshine returns by the middle of the week. Sunny skies for your Thursday and Friday, and then getting much warmer than average for our Christmas Day on Saturday.
All right, thanks, Riley. Film crews were in downtown Augusta filming the Dennis Quaid movie, The Hill. That's the same project that was filming at Lake Olmsted Stadium a little while ago. 4 other stars are working on the project, including Augusta State alum Joelle Carter from The Big and Ugly. Other stars include Scott Glenn from The Silence of the Lambs, Colin Ford from Captain Marvel, and country singer Randy Houser. So don't be surprised if you see some Hollywood faces out on the streets of Augusta. Most online shoppers decide which things to buy based on reviews, right? But how many of those reviews are fake? Coming up, we'll show you an app that'll help you filter out the fake posts.
The livebycamera.com. Click, click.
The Augusta Salvation Army is holding a virtual concert tonight featuring local artists. It's all to raise money for the organization and give right back to our local community. The concert starts at 7 o'clock tonight. It runs until 8 p.m. You can tune into the live stream on the Augusta Salvation Army's Facebook page. And you can donate through the Red Kettle Concert.org. That website is open and ready. All right, take a look at your screen. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office is looking to identify this person suspected of stealing a wallet from the Circle K gas station on Columbia Road. Investigators say the wallet had a driver's license and a debit card in it. That debit card was allegedly used by the suspect at a South State bank in Richmond County. If you have any information, if you know who this could be, you're urged to call the Columbia County Sheriff's Office. The Biden administration is looking to tighten fuel emission standards. The Biden administration is looking to tighten fuel emission standards on cars. The EPA is implementing a new mileage requirement for cars and light trucks. New standards are expected to save people money on gas and even prevent greenhouse gases from being released into the atmosphere. They'll start with 2023 models and increase by between 5 to 10% each year. By 2026, there will be a 40 miles per gallon standard. The rule will be published by the end of the year, with it going into effect 60 days later. As people get ready to hit the road for Christmas, gas prices are headed In the opposite directions in the two-state, the average price of gas in the Peach State is $3.12 a gallon. That is actually down a couple of cents from last week, and even more compared to the $3.24 price last month. But it is still far more than the $2.04 drivers were paying last year. Meanwhile, South Carolina saw a slight increase after 6 weeks of declines. The average price of gas in the Palmetto State is just under $3. The body of a missing South Carolina man was found this morning after he disappeared over the weekend while kayaking. The Georgetown County coroner confirmed they found the remains in the inland waters off Murrells Inlet. That's about 30 minutes or so down the coast from Myrtle Beach. The man was identified as 29-year-old Vladimir Norman from Murrells Inlet. The Coast Guard says he was reported missing Saturday night. Sunday, a Good Samaritan found Norman's kayak, but there was no sign of him until this morning. A new survey shows a significant drop in substance abuse among teenagers this year. Health experts say more study, though, is needed to keep the trend going. Mandy Gaither takes a look at the numbers in today's Health Minute.
A promising trend for a concerning problem, teens and substance use.
To watch the parents at the bedside going through this and to see the child and the child suffering through this as well from what was really just a poor choice. It's hard to watch.
At Orlando Health Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children, Dr. Jenna Wheeler has seen firsthand the dangers of teens using drugs and alcohol, but an annual survey from the National Institute on Drug Abuse shows the largest single-year decline in illicit drug use in more than 45 years. For 8th and 12th graders, it's down about 5% since 2020 and declined nearly 12% for 10th graders.
If this stuff is on a downswing, what are we doing correctly, and how do we continue to propel it forward so that kids use less and less?
The research suggests other substance use went significantly down as well, including alcohol, marijuana, and vaping. But researchers caution there were limitations to the survey. Fewer students participated this year than in prior years, and most completed the poll while at home for virtual schooling, where answers may not have been as honest. Wheeler says it's up to adults to keep the trend going in the same direction.
Just continuing a dialogue, talking with them, making this something that they're aware of. They know the side effects, they know the risks to themselves, and hopefully that'll continue to push them away from using drugs.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Monitoring the Future survey is done every year with students in 8th, 10th, and 12th grades. Between February and June, more than 32,000 surveys were collected at the University of Michigan. If you're looking for something the kiddos can do during Christmas break, the Lucy Craft Laney Museum is hosting a winter camp tomorrow. It is a free event for kids between 7th and 12th grades. It goes on all day from 11 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon at the Wallace Branch Library. Lunch will be provided. If you're interested, you can call to register. We've got that number listed on our website as well, so you can get a look at that a little bit later. Studies show a library. Lunch will be provided. If you're interested, you can call to register. We've got that number listed on our website as well, so you can get a look at that a little bit later. Studies show a majority of online shoppers base a large part of their decision on what to buy based on reviews. And as you might be aware, a lot of those posts are fake, but how do you spot them before you buy it? Our Consumer Tech reporter Jamie Tucker found an app that does it for you.
Well, Amazon tries to remove fake reviews, but sometimes those reviews happen so fast Amazon can't keep up, and savvy shoppers fall for these scams and shams and hoaxes all the time. But this app called FakeSpot aims to help. Install the FakeSpot app on a smartphone, and when you shop online for a product, you simply tap the share button to open up that link in the FakeSpot app or browser. If it opens, you'll see FakeSpot's grade, A through a failing F, like this portable projector. 5-star rating on Amazon, but gets an F from FakeSpot for having insufficient reliable reviews. Check this out. Only 28% of the Amazon reviews are found to be reliable. Now, the problem I have with the FakeSpot app is that it doesn't work with most of the shopping apps we use. Amazon petitioned Apple earlier this year to prevent FakeSpot from quickly verifying reviews within the Amazon app. So now you'll need to copy the product's URL from the Amazon desktop site and paste it into the FakeSpot app. It's cumbersome. By the way, the FakeSpot app works much better on Android devices by simply tapping the share button. FakeSpot's website is a lot easier to use on a computer. There are also browser extensions that add FakeSpot's analysis whenever you look at a product on Amazon or other shopping sites. If you shop online hoping to save a lot of money on off-brand tech gadgets, I wouldn't shop without it. I'm Jamie Tucker, and FakeSpot is the app of the day.
Earlier this year, an investigation found more than 75,000 Amazon vendors and 100,000 individuals were trading products for 5-star reviews. Amazon has since hired more workers to spot and remove the fake ones. Riley?
Well, today was pretty chilly. We only saw high temperatures near 50 degrees, and it's going to be even colder heading into tomorrow. Now look at the forecast just after the break.